ערב טוב לכולם, תודה לכל מי שהצטרף אלינו הערב, תודה לכל מי שצופה בנו בעמוד היוטיוב הרשמי של הפועל בנק יהב ירושלים, כמובן בכל אתרי האינטרנט המובילים, שמחים שבאתם. פתיחת עונה, עונת 2023-2024 יוצאת לדרך, אנחנו מקווים שהעונה שקרבה אלינו לטובה תהיה לא פחות טובה ומרגשת מהעונה החולפת. בלי יותר מדי הקדמות, אני רוצה להציג בפניכם את הבעלים החדש של המועדון, אדלסון, שהצטרף אלינו הקיץ. מתן, בבקשה, הבמה שלך.
Shalom לכולם, ותודה שבאתם. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. Today is a truly exciting day for me personally, for Israeli basketball, for the beautiful city of Jerusalem, and especially for Hapoel. We stand at the dawn of a new era, both for the club and for myself, and I couldn't be more thrilled and more confident as we embark on this next chapter. First and foremost, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the previous owners of Hapoel, Moshe Greenberg, Eyal Chomsky, Ori Alon, and Amari Stoudemire. Their tremendous contributions and unwavering commitment have played a vital role in shaping the organization into what it is today. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my legal team, advisors, and mentors. Without their support, it would not have been possible to make this dream come true. Today, I feel it is important to introduce myself and share my personal passions, which led me to purchase the club, as well as share my vision for the team, and finally, announce some exciting news, which we've already started working on. I've been surrounded by the game of basketball my entire life, and this game is responsible for my fondest and earliest memories as a child growing up on the west coast of the United States. I was born in Los Angeles, but despite living in Las Vegas, my family and I frequently attended Los Angeles Laker games. As a kid, I was mesmerized by the atmosphere of Staples Center, the legacy of winning championships, and the larger-than-life personalities that made each game so captivating. And of course, it was virtually impossible for me as a little kid not to be magnetized to a player like Kobe Bryant. For me, Kobe embodied grit, an unmatched work ethic, and was incredibly determined in the goals he set for himself. Growing up, I took a lot of personal inspiration from him, watching him strive to be the best version of himself. And through my leadership, I hope to manifest the Mamba mentality in this organization now and for years to come. Aside from being a diehard Lakers, Kobe, and NBA fan, I also had quite an illustrious career as a player. I started to play from the young age of 5 or 6 casually, and then in a more organized fashion, starting on my school's team in the 5th grade. In middle school, I wasn't too special of a player, quite the opposite in fact. Then in the 9th grade, I became a starter and captain of our school's junior varsity team. A team where everyone who signed up had a spot on the roster, but hey, at least I was still the captain. Unfortunately, my playing career did peak as captain of that junior varsity team, as I went on to more or less ride the bench once I moved up to varsity in the 11th grade. I realized very quickly that the odds of having any sort of career as a player were much less than the odds of getting struck by lightning, so I decided that one day I'd want to take my talents to the management side of the game. On a completely separate note, I couldn't stand here today and share my story without explaining the love I have for this country. Having grown up with one Israeli parent in the household, I was exposed to the culture, history, language, and uniqueness of our people and of our homeland from the day I was born. Both of my parents, as I believe it is well known, are staunch Zionists, and both have an unwavering commitment to this country and to our people. To my older brother Adam and I, they made it the forefront of our upbringing as kids to develop the same love and passion as they had. From age 2 until 18, I attended a Jewish school, participated in numerous Jewish youth groups and programs, and jumped at every opportunity I had to visit Israel, returning here multiple times a year. I believe my parents' profound love for Israel was paramount in my upbringing and has instilled an unquantifiable amount of pride and love for our religion, culture, and for the country itself. My passion for this country drew me only closer every time I visited, and so I decided to move here 2 years ago, immediately upon graduating from Stanford University. For the last 2 years, I've been working as a technology investor here in the startup nation, but I knew that one day my career would somehow take a turn into sports. I had 2 sports industry internships, took several sports management courses in the Stanford Business School, and like I said, I knew it was only a matter of time until I'd find myself back in the industry. My love for the game of basketball and its influence it has had on my life, as well as the indestructible bond I have with this country, is what has led me to take on this journey. And there isn't a city I am more proud to now represent than Jerusalem, the eternal and everlasting capital of our country and people. There is little to be said about Jerusalem's significance on the global stage as a cultural, historical, and religious capital to many. Given the innumerable wonders of the city, I feel that Jerusalem deserves a basketball team that reflects just how magnificent it is, and that is what I am setting out to do with Hapoel. My vision for the club contains several layers. First and foremost, I'm committed to building a best-in-class commercial organization to support a winning team on the court. This will include recruiting new talent on top of the existing employees we already have to provide the team the infrastructure it needs to succeed off of the court. My aim is to bring talent with professional sports management experience from the United States, individuals who can cultivate a best practiced and Western mindset with Hapoel. Additionally, I hope to expand the team with local talent, particularly from the world-class talent pool that this country's technology ecosystem has to offer. On the sporting side, the number one goal is to win titles, and that goes for every competition we play in. As you all know at this point, we have committed to staying in the BCL for one more season, but the club will renew efforts to reach the EuroLeague. This is a sentiment that I've personally shared both with the BCL and with the EuroLeague management. There is no doubt in my mind that Hapoel, as an organization and community, supported by the best fan base in Israel, and Jerusalem as a city and brand deserves a place in the EuroLeague. There's also no doubt in my mind that the Israeli market can support 2 EuroLeague teams, despite what has been said by some in the past, and despite what is still said today. Nevertheless, the road to the EuroLeague is unclear. It might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, or even, maybe even more. But we will do whatever it takes to meet that goal. We will do it our way, without putting a timeline over our heads, and we'll do it in a way that will hopefully cement the club's status as a EuroLeague organization for the long term. On the player side, we want to provide our players with the best conditions possible to strive both on and off of the court. This includes everything from the standard of the apartments, the condition of our team bus, and most importantly, to the facilities we provide them. I'm excited to work with Mayor Moshe Leon and the municipality of Jerusalem to find a solution for building a new best-in-class practice facility for the organization, one which will hopefully be built to NBA standards and will be unparalleled to any facility this country has ever seen. Hapoel should retain the best players in Israel, and therefore our players deserve an unrivaled player experience. Similarly, the fan experience is at the forefront of my vision. I'm committed to improving the experience in the arena, from concessions to security to more interactions between the fan and the game. That arena's atmosphere is already unbelievably special, but it would become significantly more special if it was filled every game. But in order to accomplish that, we need to improve the experience for our fans. Again, I'm looking forward to working with the municipality and with Ariel, the arena's management company, to accomplish this goal so the stadium can fulfill its potential. Hapoel as an organization is only as strong as the fans who stand behind it, and we want to bring our fans the best experience possible. Another part of the fan experience extends to the digitization of the interactions the fan has with the team. Accessibility in terms of buying tickets and merchandise, reading news, watching live games, highlights, and behind-the-scene moments, and receiving real-time alerts needs to be improved. We will soon be launching a new application, which we are testing out in the interim before releasing a new and improved version in months' time. This enhanced level of digitization will help connect the fans and grow the team's brand. We want our fans to be able to tap into the pulse of Hapoel at any moment in time. Finally, I believe Hapoel Jerusalem has a lot of potential as a brand and team internationally. We will search for opportunities to work with international media outlets, expand operations and exposure internationally, set up summer exhibition games with foreign teams, and more to capture a wider global fan base that I believe is currently untapped by any Israeli team. All of this being said, staying true to the historical DNA of Hapoel is important. The sentiment of Yesh Banu Ahava V'Tinatzach will remain. Last season, the team had a very successful campaign led by Coach Alexander Djikic, and I'm unbelievably happy to announce that we have signed him to a new 3-year contract. Coach Djikic commands an unbelievable amount of respect in the locker room and on and off the court. He was named Israeli League Coach of the Year for a reason, and it is because he's a tremendous talent and basketball mind, and we're more than thrilled to continue with him for the coming years. I believe in a process to build the best team on the court, and the process started last season by Coach is a winning one that will hopefully see more championships very soon. I'm also unbelievably happy to announce that we've re-signed Kadeen Carrington for the next 3 years after a tremendous season with the club. Dino was a crucial part of last season's success, and we're extremely happy to have him for the long run. Additionally, I'm also incredibly happy to announce our first new signing, Gabi Chachashvili. He's young, hungry, talented, and I'm sure he's going to be a perfect fit for what we're trying to build. Regarding our European competition, like I previously mentioned, we are excited to stay in the BCL for the upcoming season. The team had an unbelievable run in the competition last year, and we believe we have unfinished business there. Additionally, I'm excited to announce that we've entered into an exclusive negotiating period with the BCL regarding bringing the Final Four to Jerusalem this upcoming season. I'm looking forward to working with the BCL management and the municipality of Jerusalem to make this event come to fruition. To the greatest fan base in Israel, thank you for your continued support and love. It is you, the fans, that make me so extremely excited and honored to be standing here today as the new team owner. Your dedication and passion for Hapoel has been overwhelming, to say the least. I'm very excited to make more announcements regarding players, sponsors, equipment providers, management, and more throughout the duration of the off-season. This is a long-term project, and more likely than not, we will make mistakes along the way. But we will not rush into decisions that will compromise us in achieving our goals. I understand the challenges that lie ahead, and I look forward to working with our incredible players, staff, and fans to cement Hapoel Jerusalem as the face of Israeli basketball and as the best organization in Europe. At this point, I'd like to invite Yonatan Alon, our sports director, up to the stand to give a few remarks, after which we will move on to questions. Thank you very much. Ve'yala Hapoel.
אוקיי, נמשיך עם הצהרה של המנהל הספורטיבי יונתן אלון. לאחר מכן נאפשר לכם את רשות השאלות לשניהם ביחד.
לא עובד. עובד? אוקיי. הנה, עובד. לא. כן? בסדר? יופי. טוב, אז באמת קודם כל תודה למתן. אני חושב שכמי שגדל פה ביציעים, זה מאוד 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 מרגש לכולנו. לא רוצה להציג. יאללה, נתחיל? טוב, אז קודם כל תודה למתן, וזה מאוד מרגש בכלל כל התהליך שאנחנו חווים פה שהולך לעבור על הפועל ירושלים בשנים הקרובות. כמי שגדל פה בערך מגיל 6 או 7, זה כיף גם לראות שהתהליך הזה קורה וגם להיות חלק ממנו. אני כן אגע טיפה יותר ברזולוציה מקצועית, ששם זה המקום יותר שלי, אז באמת התחברנו מאוד למה שקרה בשנה האחרונה, והקהל התחבר לא רק לתוצאות אלא גם לדרך, ואנחנו מאוד היינו רוצים להמשיך את זה, וכמובן זה ממשיך עם ההחתמה של ג'יקיץ' שהוא בשבילנו מורה דרך לכל הסיפור הזה, וכן הכוונה שלנו היא לנסות לשמור על מה שהיה כאן. אנחנו מאוד מאמינים בהמשכיות ולחזק במקומות שאנחנו חושבים שאנחנו יכולים טיפה לחזק, ובטח לא לעשות מהפכות. וגם זה נוגע לכל מה שאנחנו מתכננים ומדברים, בנוגע למטרות שלנו והיעדים שלנו. אנחנו מתרכזים בדרך, אנחנו מאמינים גדולים בתהליכים, ואנחנו בטוחים שאם נעשה את התהליכים הנכונים, התוצאות יגיעו, התוצאות לא יגדירו אותנו, בטח לא בשלב הקרוב ובתקופה הקרובה. אנחנו מאמינים גדולים שאם נעשה את הדברים מתוך מחשבה ואחריות, ונשקיע ביסודות של המועדון הזה, ולאו דווקא שתקציב השחקנים פתאום יקפוץ בצורה יוצאת מהכלל, אלא במתקנים, בצוות, בסטנדרטים. אנחנו גם נביא לפה סטנדרטים שאין אותם בשום מועדון היום באירופה. גם זה ימקסם את היכולות המקצועיות שלנו, ובסופו של דבר יביא תארים. וגם אנחנו בסוף נגיע למצב שזה מועדון שכל שחקן באירופה, וגם מחוץ לאירופה, ירצה לבוא ולשחק במועדון הזה. מבחינת התנאים שלנו, צוות האימון שלנו, המעטפת שתינתן לשחקנים פה, ובהחלט אני חושב שיש פה בשורה לכדורסל האירופי. וזהו, אם יש לכם שאלות, אני אשמח.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, again, like I said, I've always wanted... Good? Yeah, like I said, I always knew that my career would take a turn back into sports. And for me, I felt that, my first game that I attended of Hapoel was in January of the season. From the first game that I attended, I realized that there's, like I said, a lot of potential in this arena, a lot of potential in the city. And I saw a club that I saw had a ceiling here, but was operating here. And I saw a lot of room for growth. My parents always told me, create value, make an impact, and you will feel a lot of personal fulfillment. And I saw Hapoel as a perfect opportunity to do that. So that's the reason.
First of all, good luck. If you can explain the decision to stay in the BCL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for us, the landscape in the European basketball market right now is very unclear. There's a lot of rumors about the BCL and the Euro Cup merging in 1 year, in 2 years. It's very unclear. As you all know, the EuroLeague just changed management in the last week or so. And so there's a lot of question marks. We felt that, again, continuity and process is very important, and providing stability to the players and to the organization is extremely important. So we're excited to stay in the BCL. Again, like I said, we've entered into an exclusive negotiation period with the management of the BCL to bring the Final Four to Jerusalem this upcoming season. And so that played a role as well. I think it was an event that the fans were really hoping to bring. And that being on the table definitely helped cement the decision.
First of all, welcome to Jerusalem. I want to ask you, how much do you plan to be involved personally in the team? Are we going to see you making decisions, taking the calls about players, about, I don't know, what's going around here in the team? Or we're going to see you appointing management and, just visiting the games?
So I plan to be very involved is the answer to that question. You can ask all of the staff in the organization now. I've been extremely hands-on. For me, it's important to get a sense for what's going on in the organization today. And to do that, you need to be extremely hands-on in meetings and understanding the processes that we have internally. Moving forward, I am planning on bringing on additional management. But that being said, I do want to be very hands-on. Of course, as a basketball fan myself, of course, I'm going to attend all the games. That can change down the road. I think my level of involvement will vary as time progresses, but generally speaking, I would like to be very involved, and I plan to stay very involved.
Matan, good luck. You've mentioned a lot of names of owners from the past years, and this is a territory where Hapoel Jerusalem didn't have stability. Do you have a plan for how many years you can say now that you are planning to stay? Do you have a business plan, budget-wise, how to build it?
Yeah, I'm not going to put a number on things, right? I'm here for the long term. I think if we can grow the team and the organization into a winning one, into a successful one, into a self-sustaining one, that surely would increase my desire to stay for forever. But I'm here for the long term. If I can go to my deathbed with Hapoel as a part of me, I would accomplish my goal. Really, for me, this is about impact and making a difference in the community. I'm unbelievably happy to combine my passions and to take this journey on with Hapoel. I can't put a number on it, but the long term is the answer.
Good luck, welcome. What is your biggest dream or goal for Hapoel Jerusalem?
I wouldn't say there's one primary goal, right? Like I said, there's a variety of goals in no particular order. Like I said, winning championships, that goes here in the local Israeli League, the Israeli Cup, whatever European competition we play in. Of course, making the EuroLeague, building the best organization here in Israel for sure, but also in all of Europe in general. And really just to make an impact in the community with the youth. Again, no particular order. They're all tied at number one for me. But yeah, I couldn't put one as the number one.
Yes, Mr. Adelson, welcome to Jerusalem. I would like to ask you, Hapoel Jerusalem is not a regular club. It's very unique. The community here is very involved. What do you think? Is it important for you to keep the spirit?
Unbelievably. Like I said in my statement, we want to keep the historical DNA of the club. Of course, there will be some changes, right? But change is good and change is important at times to grow bigger and better. Staying true to the historical DNA of the club is extremely important. Like I said, from the first game that I came here to the arena, I felt what a special atmosphere was. And that's all thanks to the fans and the community and how strong they are. So I hope to grow that. The number of fans in the seats, of course, we want the stadium full every game next season. But it's very important to stay true to the roots of the community here.
Matan, congratulations on purchasing the club. Looking at the international view of Hapoel Jerusalem, you mentioned that there are no clubs that have an impact really on a worldwide level, especially in the United States. Could you elaborate a little bit on the plans that you would say is trying to bring Hapoel Jerusalem to the people, to the Jewish people, the people that love Jerusalem, love Israel? If you could elaborate a little bit on that.
Sure. So like I said, there's a large number of people outside of this country from many different backgrounds, many different faiths that love this city and love the significance of the city. I think we can tap into that internationally. As far as plans go, I don't have an XYZ that I'm prepared to present, but things along the lines of, like I said, working with international media outlets, hopefully playing some NBA exhibition games in the summer, exploring other opportunities to play internationally elsewhere during the off-season. And of course, we travel all across Europe to play a variety of teams and now in the BCL. And so I think tapping into local Jewish communities there in those cities that we go and playing is very important, and it's part of the plans as well.
Matan, you mentioned your EuroLeague efforts. So I'd like to ask you, how do you see Hapoel Jerusalem path towards this competition? Would it be via the Euro Cup, or you'd like to have a fixed license? And if so, did you get any indication from the EuroLeague, from somebody over there, that Hapoel Jerusalem may get this license?
So to answer your second question, like I said, the goal is to cement the club's status as a EuroLeague organization for the long term, and that means getting a fixed license. Of course, there were people before me that tried to do it with the club. I believe that the landscape now in the EuroLeague looks different than it did in years past. There's a lot of talk about expansion within the EuroLeague. I think the EuroLeague realizes that in order to grow as an organization, they need to expand. And I think Jerusalem makes the strongest case out of any that we deserve a place there. Like I said, there's no clear path, right? The road is unclear. I've spoken to the EuroLeague management, to both the new CEO, Paulis Monteunis, and the president, Dejan Bodiroga. They've assured me that they see a place for Jerusalem in the EuroLeague in the long term, but the path to get there is unclear at this moment.
Matan, you come from a well-known family, and I think that's the longest time we've met an Adelson sitting in front of the microphone and answering our questions. And we see your mother here, we see her also in the arena. Tell us a bit about the personal decision, to expose yourself, to do something so publicly. Today all the media is smiling, we're flipping a day. So tell us a bit about the decision to take something so high profile as a basketball team in Israel.
That's a great question. I think that's probably the thing that I was least excited about buying the club, was exposing myself personally. Like you said, my mom is here in the crowd today. I was very fortunate enough to grow up to parents that raised me with very strong values, to be humble and be modest, and not to boast and show off. And I think that's really why that public exposure is the most difficult thing for me. But at the end of the day, like I said, for me it's very important to make an impact. I saw the ability to make an impact both with the organization, with the city, and on the country's level as well. And so I kind of put that aside and took on this challenge with open arms.
Matan, I guess that you're regular to see NBA, so I want to know what you think about the Israeli basketball.
That's a great question. You can ask Jonathan, in the last few months, there's obviously a big difference between the European game and the NBA. You can ask Jonathan. I've told him now that I've watched European and Israeli basketball for a few months, I actually think the NBA is less exciting to watch. Right? It's more of a team game here. There's more of a system. In the NBA, it's a lot of one-on-one. And so I think the game actually looks a lot more beautiful here than it does in the NBA. I think the level is very high. And so, I'm super excited for obviously continuing to grow the level here with Hapoel and contributing to the league in general.
One question for Matan and one for Jonathan. Matan, Coach Jikic already had an agreement for next season before you came. Please explain why was it so important for you to extend his contract for 3 more years. And Jonathan, באופן טבעי הקבוצה הבכירה תקבל את כל הזרקורים. מעניין אותי לשמוע מה אתם מתכננים, אם בכלל איזשהו שינוי או הרחבה למחלקת הנוער.
Yeah, sure. I'll start first. For me, like I said, I believe in a process, right? Coming here and starting to learn the landscape and the lay of the land here in the European basketball world and also here in Israel. Everything seems very short-minded. A lot of players on one-year contracts, a lot of coaches on one-year contracts. And coming from the United States where things are a lot more long-term, like I said, it's a lot more process-oriented. I want to bring that mindset here to the club. And so I felt it was important to start with a leader. Coach Jikic obviously was unbelievable last season. And I believe in his process, and I wanted to lock him down for the long term.
קודם כל, מבחינת מה שמתן אומר של האמונה בתהליכים, אני חושב שיש לנו פה בעצם מצאנו מחנה משותף מאוד גדול גם עם המאמן, של ללכת לכיוון הזה, ובאמת זו בשורה שאנחנו רוצים להביא בכלל לכדורסל הישראלי, שזה יכול פה לשנות את התרבות ולעשות טוב לכולם. לגבי מחלקת הנוער, בוודאי שאנחנו רואים בילדים במחלקת הנוער כבשר מבשרנו, זה החבר'ה שמעודדים אותנו ביציעים, ואחוז מהם אפילו מגיע לשחק ולהתאמן איתנו. אנחנו כמובן נמצאים עכשיו בתהליך שכולל המון 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 דברים, החל מבניית הקבוצה והארגון, והדברים של מחלקת הנוער כבר מנוהלים טוב, אז אנחנו לא קופצים עליהם מיד. התחלנו בשיחות איתם, כמובן דרך דניאל, המנהל המקצועי. אנחנו גם שם רוצים מאוד מאוד לשפר את הדברים. הסטנדרטים שדיברנו עליהם לבוגרים, מבחינתנו צריכים להגיע ולהתחיל מלמטה. אני מניח שזה תהליך שיקח קצת יותר זמן, אבל גם שם יהיו בשורות משמעותיות.
חברים, תודה רבה שהגעתם, תודה למתן, תודה ליונתן. זה הזמן גם לציין שעונת 23-24 נפתחה עם מחירת המנויים שלנו. כל המנויים שלנו מוזמנים ליהנות מקשת מחירים רחבה. החלטנו שלא להעלות את מחיר המנויים בניגוד למגמה הכללית במשק, כדי לאפשר באמת לכל האוהדים את החוויה הזאת, ואנחנו מזמינים את כולם ליהנות כמו ברגעים שהיו בעונה שעברה, גם ברגעים של העונה הבאה. תודה רבה.
יאללה.